Hey friends, today we're going to be talking about the differences between the wings of Enneagram 5. Now, just because some of you have asked, this one's kind of personal for me, just as the last wings video was, because it even explains to some extent why it takes me basically forever and a day to release a new video to you guys. A lot of times I need to be sure that I know the things I know, because sometimes I'm not sure that I do know the things I know, you know? And that is really what we're talking about when we're talking about core 5, is that fixation on knowledge and on the security that is perceived to be found in knowledge. So in other words, if I know all of the things and can study the crap out of this until I know it, then maybe I can be safe, or maybe I can be secure. And that is that main mentality of 5. That's the main thing that motivates a 5 to be withdrawn, motivates a 5 to hold the cards close to the chest. Now we see that in those two manifestations where the wings are concerned. A 5 with the 6 wing on the one hand, we would call a double head type, because we have that double theme on the line between 5 and 6 of fear and of security. Now the main difference with that 6 component is that a 6 seeks security in not knowledge, but in something that's larger than the self, and the loyalty to something that could protect them outside of themselves. So we tend to actually see some themes of not just knowledge seeking, because we are talking about core 5s, but knowledge seeking sometimes in very zealous or naively zealous loyalties to specific viewpoints or specific subjects. That 6 component brings in that desire to be loyal to the larger thing. So, that could be a 5 that seeks knowledge in a realm of study that they feel very loyal to, like the scientific community, or an institution that they attended for their higher education, or any number of things. But there tends to be that 6 loyalty piece that says, I'm going to pay my dues. I'm going to respect the hierarchy of the system. And there is that real honor component with 6s that compounds with 5. I think that really experientially, the main thing that we see with a 5-6 person, just as we would with a 6-5 person, is this tendency also to plan. The 6 is the ultimate planner, and not just seeking knowledge, but planning in their seeking of knowledge and saying, all right, I need to frame this out before I can start my quest towards knowledge. And a lot of times that looks like really kind of fearing the worst case scenario. So that is kind of like a trademark 6 component that gets compounded with the 5. And I would say though 6 is not traditionally a withdrawn type, people that I know of the 5-6 variety, withdrawn is the wrong word, but they tend to be very conscious of their surroundings, of survival, of what's going on, in order to make sure that the worst doesn't happen. Now that 5-4 variety, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit less logic oriented. We're still talking about core 5s here, but that 5-4 line tends to cause this balance between feeling and thinking. Even people that I've seen over the years who identify with 5-4 or 4-5, even when they test in a Myers-Briggs sense, tend to be pretty even on the thinking-feeling spectrum, because 5 is this very heavy analytical type, and 4 is this very heavy feeling type. And this tends to cause sometimes a cycle of insecurity, I think, in the, wait, are my feelings accurate or are my thoughts accurate? Is logic accurate or is intuition accurate? So there's this wrestle in the 5-4 combo. On the flip side, I really feel like there is this really large gift for 4-5 people or 5-4 people, which is being very being very unbiased because of that balance between thinking and feeling. And when they engage with people specifically, being able to value feelings as valid and being able to value logic as valid, and not sitting too hard on one side. But that 4-5 combo, I think, tends to be a little bit more eccentric and a little bit more expressive, whether inwardly or outwardly. Totally, we can have a 5-6 person who's a poet or an artist, every type in the Enneagram can be those things and can be creative. But I think that that 5-4 combo tends to have a slightly more natural proclivity to that than the 5-6 combo, because there's that 4 need to express the self and to seek identity and to find authentic identity. And that is that other motivation that pairs with that 5 quest for knowledge. So 5-4 combo people tend to have quests for knowledge that tend to fall more under that umbrella of understanding or meaning or that philosophical side of things, whereas the 5-6 tends to fall more under the umbrella of the hard sciences. Now, I want to say, as I disclaim many times, this is not a rule. This is just something that is majority of the time true. There are always exceptions. I know 5-6 people who are studying the humanities. They're not studying the hard sciences, but they are studying the humanities in a way that is double focused on logic. Whereas the 4-5's motivation is focused on understanding and logic and tends to value both the heart feeling side of humanity and the logic head side of humanity. Now, those are some of the main differences before the wings of 5. There are a lot of other things we could talk about. One of them I would say definitely is even the way the instincts color this picture. If you want more info on that, I have some really helpful infographics at the Enneagram Girl blog that are based on the work of Claudio Naranjo and his descriptions of the instincts that are specific to core type. Now, the way that I would pursue that when we're looking at wings is to look at the core type instincts and to look at the wing instincts. So in this case, you'd look at 5 and 6 or 5 and 4 and really wrestle that out and look at the ways that those instincts color, the ways that these things we've discussed in this video come across. Hey, if you have comments or observations or questions, feel free to chime in the comments or send me an email at the email address at the end of this video. I love hearing from you guys, and it really helps my study of the Enneagram and really of the way that manifests itself in humanity by hearing your experience as well. Thanks so much for chiming in, and I will see you next time for the next misidentification video.